Jai Hind and welcome to today's lecture. So today's lecture we are going to be focusing on importance of speaking techniques and that too impromptu speaking techniques. So the topic is impromptu speaking techniques. Why it's important? Because to handle impromptu speaking you need to think quickly and respond with clarity. So the entire topic goes as impromptu speaking techniques, thinking quickly and responding clearly. So, what are the objectives? To understand what impromptu speaking is and why it's essential as in skill, so that we have to polish it more, is definitely one of the key objectives of the session. Then the next one is to uncover various key strategies that we need to adopt, abide in ourselves to structure our thoughts on the spot when life does not give you lot many preparation chances beforehand. Then, to learn the correct strategies to stay composed during impromptu speaking. So, it's something like you are thrown in open waters and you are asked to stay calm. If you don't stay calm, you're bound to drown. So, similar is the situation with impromptu speaking. Many of us get bewildered, we get shocked, and we lose our calm. Once we are not calm, it's impossible to think with clarity. So, how to attain that in impromptu speaking is what we are going to be learning today. And definitely, how to improve our clarity and confidence while we are responding to impromptu questions which are thrown our way is also on the learning agenda today. So, first thing first, we'll understand what exactly the dictionary describes impromptu speaking as. Speaking spontaneously without any prior preparation, without getting any time beforehand to prepare for the topic, is called impromptu speaking. Why we need to acquire this skill? Simple reasons are having a confidence to speak with very little to no time provided for preparation would be useful in meetings, in your interviews, in handling various QA sessions, and also for your social interactions. It also would help you demonstrate your confidence, clarity, and quick thinking. Okay? And what are the key challenges that one would face? Staying calm under pressure. So, as I was quoting earlier, if you are thrown in open waters, unless you are calm under pressure like that, you are going to drown. Similarly, lot of situations which we face in our day-to-day life where we don't have much time to prepare in advance to handle those, we need to handle them calmly, because if we lose control, then what will happen? The mind will not work to its optimum capacity. So, similar is the challenge of speaking quickly or with very little to no time given to prepare in advance, or impromptu speaking as we term it. Next is organizing your thoughts quickly. Unless you are not calm, unless you are not clear here, it will be very difficult to respond, because you will not be able to organize or arrange your thought process in proper sequence, and hence you will sound all jumbled up, unclear, confused. Let's see an example scenario. Answering an unexpected question in a meeting. How would you do that? You can simply start by introducing yourself in a networking event, and then this flowchart helps us handle this with ease. So, if the question is put onto you, you can pause, understand what's being asked, but don't take the pause too quickly, because the other person is expecting you to respond now. So, calculate, arrange your thoughts with clarity but in a calm manner, and then prepare your response suitable to the question which has come to you to answer or handle. We move on now to what really matters here is learning the various techniques which will help us think quickly. First is the prep method. Now, prep method has a few steps which it works around. So, the first one is your point. then is your reason, then is example, and then point again. Here the point is to reinstate what we started with. So let's see an example. Why do people like working remotely? Now, remotely does not mean going to a remote village and working. It basically means not sitting inside the four walls of an office area where you report 9 to 5 for a job. It's like a scenario which existed during the COVID times and is still continuing. It became so popular because people adopted to it with ease. So it offers a lot of ease to work from any location of your choice rather than being bound to sit at the office desk. So that's called working remotely. So work from home as we may term it as. So we start with the prep method, and here the point is the first aspect we begin with. And here it is, I enjoy working remotely because it improves my productivity. That's the point. And then I come to the reason. I can create, this is my reason why it's increasing my productivity, because I can create focused work environment at a place of my choice. So that's my reason. Then I come to the example, which is the next step in this method. So after starting with my point, giving a valid reason, now I move to give you an example to make it much more clear to the listener. And I can say, for instance, I complete my task faster without any office distractions at home. I finish my task faster at home because there are no office distractions there. So I'm giving you an example also, right? And then I go back to the last bit, which is restating the same point where we started from, because it's a round conversation. So I started from here and I end it again here to the restating of the same point. So, or therefore, remote work helps me to be more efficient, right? So we started with the point because it improves my productivity, which means it keeps me more efficient. So I started from where, I conclude it also by reinstating it at the end. So this is your prep method. So we go to the next now. Past, present, future framework. All right. So this might sound very new to you, but we'll break it down. It will be more relatable then. So structure your answers by dividing into different time frames. You can also structure your answers by dividing them into various time zones. So what can that be? It can be, the example is very elaborated and it explains it very crisply for us. When talking about technology, I'd say it has evolved significantly in the past. So here I am dividing my entire conversation or what I'm talking about into different time frames. So here I'm mentioning about how technology has evolved over a time period in the past, and it continues to shape our lives today. So from past, now I've moved how it's affecting it today, and will play a vital role even in future. So I have divided my entire talk into various time frames to talk and handle it more effectively. Now we go to the next, categorization. Break the ideas into 2-3 smaller categories. So when you do that, it helps you because you can emphasize on each category with a lot of clarity. Why? Because you get time to think. Category wise, you focus your thoughts on. And even for the listener, it becomes better because it gives him time to retain and also evaluate what you are putting across to them. So the example of breaking the idea or your thought into 2-3 different categories goes like this. To manage stress, I focus on 3 things. So now I'm telling you, I'm breaking it into 3 categories which work for me, right? And then I'm giving you time to absorb them. Now, the first one for me is exercise. Yes. The next one would be time management for me. And the third one is mindfulness practices. So, what's happening? To make it much easier for the other person as well as for me, I am categorizing the entire content into smaller 2 to 3 categories. All right. So, we move to the next now. Staying calm under pressure techniques. Very important for us that we need to stay calm. You are not calm, you'll never come across as a confident person. You'll always end up looking very confused. And if you are confused, believe you me, my friend, nobody would take you seriously. Nobody. So always try to stay in control, try to be calm. So pause before speaking. Take your time. Don't take endless time though. Take a brief moment, calm yourself down, collect your thoughts, gather them, categorize them with clarity, and then we can, after calming ourselves down with deep breathing and focusing on what was asked, arranging your thoughts correctly, then you start answering. There is no one who has to be just perfect, but you can work around being perfect. Make sense with what you are trying to deliver. Don't be vague though. Okay? So, staying calm under pressure, what are the key techniques which will help us attain those? First one is pause. Pause before speaking. Take your time before speaking. If someone's asked you something, don't jump out of your seat to answer. He's asked you only the questions meant for you. So take time to answer. Okay? Take time to speak. Speak with confidence, with clarity. So pause before speaking. A short pause gives time to us to gather our thoughts clearly. Then is how to be calm. Deep breathing. What's happening? It's just not one yogic kriya what we do. There's a scientific reason behind this, why our yogis were doing it and why we are supposed to be doing it even now in these modern times. Why? Because once you are breathing deeply, you are bringing the level of oxygen in your blood go higher. The more oxygen would definitely go to your brain. The more oxygen would go to your brain, it will calm your thoughts down, it will bring down the anxiety levels, and also it will ease off your breathing and you will sound more in control. So, deep breathing is important to stay calm. So, it manages your nerves, it calms you down, it brings everything to a little slow pace, and deep breath definitely helps us. Manages nerves by taking a slow, deep breath. Calm yourself down. It's your life. It's just not that you are running for your life. So don't make everything a race. Take time. Next, focus on the question. Very important. Just because you need time, you are pausing before speaking, that does not mean the other person has all the time to, wait for your answer and you come up with something very vague. No. Make sure what's been asked, you listen to that very carefully before answering. Then you calculate the answer, prepare it in your mind, and then you respond directly to what's been asked. Don't beat around the bush. No one has time to waste. So value yourself, your time, but also give the similar value and importance to the other party. Next is avoid being perfect or perfectionism. So there is no need to look really perfect. You don't have to sound like someone who is Mr. or Miss Perfect. Okay? So, but it's not really important, but you also have to understand you can't just go very bizarre or unclear either. So, you have to, on priority, have clear conversation or communication with trying to deliver something which is more or less a precise or a flawless answer. Okay? It might not be that every time what you are speaking is factually going to be 100% correct. If even if it is 98, 99%, you are nearly there, you are definitely hitting the target. Next, enhancing clarity and delivery. So once we move to this slide, it will now tell you about various tips that will help you to enhance the clarity and also how you deliver your thoughts or how you communicate with others confidently. So first on the list is speak slowly. We've done it in the filler section as well. Speak slowly. Control the pace of your conversation to sound more confident. Don't be in a haste. If you're blabbing it out too quickly, the chances are even the best and the most valid point what you are making across to your audience, they'll fail to absorb it because it just bounced over their head. You were like a fast-paced bowler who is bowling too quickly and the other party is unable to catch any of it. So pace it down for your benefit because you'll sound more clear, you'll sound much in control, you'll sound very confident, and also for the gain of your audience. Next is emphasize on all the key points. Very important. Key points are those bullet points which are the major content source of your entire conversation. So please make sure that the emphasis on each and every important point is made. Stress on important words and phrases to make the entire communication from your end sound effective. Use body language. We've always been covering body language in such important topics. Don't undermine its usage. Use gestures which look natural. Don't go over the board. You are not there in a world cinema stage. So, use body language and gestures which gel well and look natural with the topic. Okay, but maintaining eye contact is definitely a mandatory thing to do. Never shy away from doing that. Next is avoid the use of fillers. Like, I think. No, we don't. Pause instead. Slow it down instead. And use transitional phrases like, for example, right? Okay? Or I would rather say it like that. We can maybe try this out. So use transitional phrases instead and use pauses. Pacing down techniques also work, but fillers are the killer words which kill the charm of the entire conversation and impromptu speaking as well. So avoid them as much as you can. Okay, so we now move on to the practice trip. What I want you to do is record yourself answering simple questions like, what motivates you? Record yourself on your cell phone and then play back. Assess that how precisely could you handle that question? How much time did you need to, go ahead and speak about it? Did you take ages to prepare that answer, or it was more or less an impromptu answer which you came up with? And if you came up with an impromptu answer, was it with clarity? Or what was the usage of the filler words in it? If there were too many, more than 4 or 5 in a sentence, or maybe in sentences of 4 to 5 in number, then I guess you need to work hard on eliminating these. We now move on to the next one, please. It is now the wrap up and the home task, though optional, but mandatory, the home task. Okay. First, we do the wrap up. Techniques for organizing your thoughts are what we covered today: prep, past, present, and future. Technique of breaking down your content into different time zones And then is, of course, breaking it further down into various 2 to 3 key categories and then working around those categories. Staying calm and managing your nerves to handle the entire pressure situation to best of your advantage. Speaking with clarity and avoiding of filler words is also what we had touched upon. Now we move to the homework. Previous slide also I spoke briefly about self-assessment, what you can do. Here also it's more or less the same. Record and analyze your responses to impromptu prompts daily. Okay. Practice speaking in front of a mirror or with a friend. Then use various readily available online tools to stimulate impromptu speaking. One suggestion which I have to put across to you is maintain a speaking journal to track your daily progress in terms of mastering impromptu speaking techniques. Nothing works like a good vocabulary whenever it's time to communicate effectively to others. So keeping the topic in mind, here are the 3 words which I have got for you today. The first one is composure. That means to stay calm. The state of being calm and in control of oneself is composure. Maintaining composure under pressure is the key to delivering a coherent impromptu response. Next is fluency. You might find this word very basic, but if I ask you the meaning, you might be referring to a dictionary. So here I am with the dictionary for you so that you don't refer to it again. It goes straight in. So fluency means the ability to speak smoothly and without any unnecessary pauses or fillers. So the usage is regular practice improves fluency, making impromptu speaking less daunting. What is daunting? Less difficult or horrifying. Next, spontaneity. So we've heard the word spontaneous. It's very closely associated with that. Spontaneity means the quality of acting or speaking without any previous planning or rehearsal. So the usage for the word goes like this. Spontaneity in impromptu speaking can make your responses sound natural and engaging. So with this, it's a Jai Hind and a wrap up from my side until the next lecture. Keep practicing, keep shining. You've got it all. It's just a matter of more practice. All right. Thank you very much for staying tuned with me during the lecture. Until we meet the next time, thank you and Jai Hind.